Welcome to our third webinar of our club development series. Today will be all about your player opportunities and creating opportunities for as many people as possible to play the game. Just a bit of housekeeping. Today's session will be recorded and added to our YouTube playlist. So if anyone's got any concerns, please let us know. To start with, I'm going to welcome you to our team that works around kind of the player pathways. So we have Izzy, who's our football participation manager and looks after the female side of the game. We have Dan, who looks after disability football and adult rec. I'm Stacey, club development officer looking after Berkshire, Vale of Whitehorse and South Oxfordshire. And we have Harry, who looks after Buckinghamshire. We also have our ambassadors. So we have Frank, who's our disability football ambassador. And we have Ayo, our equal game ambassador, covering Berkshire and South Oxfordshire. Just to start with, I'm just going to go a little bit into the pathways, and so just to give you an understanding of what that means. So in the participation pathways, we have criteria for what counts as a full pathway. So in the kind of male mixed game, to be counted as a full pathway, you need to have 9 different age groups. This isn't necessarily teams because they need to be in different age groups. So if you had 9 under-7 teams, that wouldn't count. But if you obviously had 7, 8, 9, etc., that would count as your full pathway. In the female game, it's 4 different age groups to count as a full pathway. And in disability football, it's 2 different age groups to count as a full pathway. What's exciting is now that sessional football is now included in the pathways. So this graphic on your screen kind of shows what it counts towards. So if you had a male just play session, which is just turn up and play, that would count as an adult team in the pathways. In female football, if you ran Wildcats, this would count as an under 10 team in the pathways. If you ran squad sessions, this would count as an under 14 team in the pathway. And if you had a female just play session, this would count as open age football, adult football. In the disability pathway, if you had a Wildcats disability specific provision, this would count as under 12s. If you had a Comet sessions, that would count as under 12. Similarly to Wildcats with squad, if you had a female disability specific session, that would be under 14s. And then you just play and your more recreational opportunities would be adult. Just give you an understanding how this works for your star ratings in for accreditation. So to be 1 star, you would just need to have 18 registered in a league. To be 2 star, this is 1 full pathway and 1 team in another pathway. So I've put a couple of examples there. So if you had 9 male or mixed teams and 1 female team, that would make you 2 star. Or if you had 4 female teams and 1 disability team, that would make you 2 star. For 3 star, it's 2 full pathways and 1 team in another pathway. So the examples for this would be 9 male and mixed teams, 4 female teams in a disability team, or 9 youth male mixed teams, 1 youth female team, and 2 disability teams. Going a little bit further into the different opportunities in male and mixed football. So in ways to play in youth football, you've got your kind of traditional formats, which everyone will be well aware of, your 5v5, 7v7, 9v9, etc., with the 3v3 coming in next season. We've seen it's continuing to rise, and we have over, it's probably 3,500 youth teams in our region now. The other opportunity for youth players is futsal. So we have the Youth Futsal League, which runs a football cup throughout the year from kind of February to April time and October to November, and this gets held in various locations. For our area, it's Buckinghamshire, there's always one, and in Berkshire there's always one, and this is kind of a tournament style of opportunity to fit around your kind of everyday lives. This is a national competition, so this has regionalised structures across the country. In male adult football, there's a much more different varieties. So you've got the traditional sort of 11v11 format, which everyone will be aware of. We've got small-sided, so that you get plenty of kind of 5, 6, 7-a-side leagues. A lot of people will be aware of that with kind of your leisure leagues and your power leagues running a lot of these. You have flexi football, so this is people that you might not have enough for 11-a-side every week. You might not be able to play on the weekend. You might not want to play every week. You might want to be all like once a month. So it's designed to fit around everyone's lifestyles. We currently have them, Izzy will be able to correct me, we've got them in Reading currently, with a number of teams playing on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah, like every other week.
Every other week, yeah. We have veterans football. This is age 35 plus, but many of our leagues have kind of different divisions for 35 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus age groups. Our main league currently is MK Milton Keynes Veterans League, but we are in the process of setting up a new one in Berkshire starting from next season. Got walking football, so this is generally for adults over 50. It's kind of people that are new to the game, people that have played before but maybe need to play it now at a slower pace or a less competitive environment. We have futsal similarly to the youth setup, and then we have just play, which can be in various different forms, but is for anyone that wants to turn up on the day, play a bit of football, play a game, and go home again. There's not like that competitive element at the weekends. I'm going to hand over to Dan, who's going to go a little bit into disability football.
Thanks, Stacey. Before I start, I'll just say that Frank, our disability ambassador, is on the call. So if you've got any questions while I'm going along, I appreciate it's a lot of information to intake at one point. Just drop them in the chat or put your hand up and we can hopefully answer them as we go along. So as Stacey said, disability football. So first off is why disability football? Why would you get involved? So we've just pulled off a couple of stats here from various people like the Activity Alliance, the census. There are 10.4 million disabled people in England and Wales. That's around 1 in 5. Disabled people at 41% are much likely to be inactive compared to non-disabled people. So for me, there's reasons for clubs to get involved with disability football, and it's kind of giving you the opportunities, and hopefully across the course of these slides that you'll find out how the national FA programs run with disability football, but also how we can support you as Berks and Bucks FA. General message is to get more clubs involved so we can get those that are inactive more active. As it says, like nearly kind of 8 in 10 disabled people want to do more in sport and activities, and that's hopefully something we can address with what we're going to go through tonight. Thank you. Types of disability football. So there's physical disabilities. So this includes conditions that affect movement or mobility, so such as cerebral palsy, and kind of those that are using a wheelchair. So for example, there are power wheelchairs. So power wheelchair will be starting up next season in Milton Keynes. So you've got your physical, you've got your sensory disabilities, which include conditions such as vision impairment. So we currently run a visually impaired session in Slough in partnership with Slough Town. So that's anyone that has a visual impairment up to those that are actually have no sight at all. That is run in conjunction with Berkshire Vision. So we have people who are working with sight loss every day to support those sessions. Then you have learning disability. So it will be those that are kind of not taking up opportunities to play football, but perhaps don't really understand the rules from the off. So you need to take more time. And then you have behavioural and social disabilities, which include those that are on the autistic spectrum. Those that are on the autistic spectrum might fall into learning disabilities as well. It just depends on kind of what you're kind of offering. One thing that we do say is that do a player passport, just to get as much information about the player as you can before they join your session. Next slide, please, Stacey. Support from BBFA. So you might have heard of it, you come across it. It's actually been advertised in a couple of England games around the boardings at Wembley. The national programme called FA Comets. This is a recreational programme, so sessional. It's for 5 to 11-year-olds. It normally is the first kind of port of call for a person with disability, a young person, to play football. It's really good. It comes with a load of resources, online learning, and it comes with sensory packs for those clubs that take it up. We are encouraging clubs to take Comets up, especially as their first kind of chance to be involved with disability football, because the programme is so well respected and is thought out for coaches and clubs alike. You cannot get enough information about Comets, and we will try and support you with that. Once a club signs up for Comets, they will get used to or get assigned a club portal. In that portal for Comets, it will have all the resources, information, even down to posters that you can send out to your local schools, your local SEND schools, or your local offer or SEND teams. Stacey mentioned it, there's Just Play, so there's Kickabout. So Just Play's changed recently, especially around disability. It used to be just turn up and play. There's now two elements of it. There's that turn up and play factor that's still there and still exists for clubs that just want to do a session with no coaching, but they've also now adapted into learn to play. So learn to play is for those that are just coming back into football, that are having clubs teach them or coach them a little bit around kind of what they're doing. So it's ideal for those that are coming back into football after having not played for a while. But also with the Just Play now, with Kickabout and Learn to Play, it does come with a resource pack, just like Comets. So if anyone's as old as I am, if you can remember those top sport cards, that's what you get with Comets and Just Play. So it's not a case of you do the online learning, then you're left to it. In the resources, you get those. I think there's a pack of 20 with the games on that you can use. But also from a BBFA point of view, as I mentioned, we've got Frank. Frank's on the call, so I know he's quite modest. He gets quite embarrassed, but like he's done tremendously well with what he's done at Chalfont Saints. I think over the 9 years that he's been there, he does Comets, he does Disability Rec, he Just Play. He has a disability team in the Disability League, and they see over 100 people a week with disabilities on a Saturday. Been down there a couple of times. The work that he's done is incredible. He's really good at the fundraising aspect of it as well. So it was really important for me to kind of have Frank on the call and as one of our ambassadors, because for you as a club who's starting out, I would really try to reach out to Frank and have a chat with him about how to get started and kind of where to go for additional funding. Just some feedback we've got from Frank recently from Reading City FC. They are new to disability, been doing it for the last 10 months. They had an hour's call with Frank yesterday or the day before, I believe. I got an email today to say how unbelievable it was and how it was good for them to be pointed in the right direction and kind of have that resource there available to them. Frank, once a club signs up to Comets, Disability Rec, or Just Play, they will then get use of Frank, and I will kind of signpost Frank to you as a club, and then you and Frank could take it up from there. Fantastic. In terms of what the National FA do, they do the online courses. So some of you might remember the old coaching disabled footballers. There's a similar thing to that now online, which is a 30-minute module. It's free. It's just to go over kind of basically in more detail what we're going over tonight and how to support coaches develop and make your sessions inclusive for those with disabilities. It's a really good online kind of thing to have a look at. So I encourage that even if you are just looking at disability at the moment and it's kind of really new to you, go on to FA Learning, have a look at the modules. It's really a good resource for coaches and those that are interested in disability football. One thing that we offer as a local county FA is our Journey to Inclusion. So you may have seen or may come across disability training for clubs. We offer it as a county FA. So basically what it is an extension of tonight where the national team from the FA come down and obviously I'm there with my colleagues from Oxfordshire because we partner with them just to talk about what it's like for a club who are new to disability football, what resources are there, what resources are available from the FA to use. I personally think, and I know I'm biased being the Disability League, that it's probably the ideal time to get involved with disability football with the amount of resources that are there for a club. So our next Journey to Inclusion workshop is taking place on the 19th of April at Oxford City Football Club. What will be following out after this is a player pathway booklet that will have the details on how you can join that and sign up for that. Again, it's free. Those that are thinking about disability football or have started their journey of disability football, I would encourage you to come on the 19th because we're lucky enough that the actual workshop is running alongside the Disability Football League, which is known as the Bobby. So it gives you the first chance to have a look at kind of what disability football looks like in this area. And then more exciting for me, coming end of May in Reading, we are running the Coaching Disabled Footballers CPD. It's going to be a day course based in Reading where our coach developer, Chris Berry, and our coach developer, casual developer for disability, Craig Peters, will be on hand to work with coaches and clubs that are interested or taking up disability football. Again, once that's confirmed, it will go on our website, it will be on our social media, and it will take place in Reading, as I said. So please look out for that. If you're starting disability football, it's a really good kind of day's course just to get your head around what is expected of you as a coach. The kind of Journey to Inclusion one is for everyone, but the Coaching Disabled Footballers course is for those coaches or volunteer coaches that will be involved. Just to end it, I'll just go for the disability section. I'm just going to show you a powerful video. It just explains kind of what the Journey to Inclusion is and the disability toolkit. I think this is a really, really powerful video, especially for those that are starting out. So yes, I'll kind of leave it with that. I don't think there's any questions come up so far. So Stacey, if you play the video, that would be brilliant.
Brilliant, thanks Dan. As Dan mentioned, the chat function's open, or if you want to put your hands up and have any questions throughout tonight, please do. We'll be monitoring it. So if you've got any questions that you can think of that might be able to ask the team, then yeah, please pop it in the chat. I'm going to hand over to Izzy to talk about female football.
Thanks, Stace. So yeah, a bit of an overview of kind of where we are currently with female football. So kind of across the country, we've seen an increase of 68,000 coming off the back of the Euro success in 2022. And I think some of that's obviously contributed from the win that they had last year as well. We're currently just over 10,000 players, just under 10,500 now, which is kind of split with 772 female teams and then 35 sessional opportunities. There are opportunities to get involved in both or either, depending on what your potential need or requirements are going to be for your club. And then we're also just going to touch on the importance of creating the right environment and making players kind of feel safe and included, and potentially some of the differences that arise from female football that you might not necessarily see in the male and the mixed game. So we're quite fortunate in our county. We've got 3 leagues. So we've got our Berkshire County Girls League, who cover kind of our Berkshire, obviously our Berkshire area, and also some of our South Oxfordshire area. They have been going for the last 10-14 years now. So they could go all the way from under 7s all the way through to under 18s. And very excitingly, they've also been part of our Future Fit pilot for 3v3 this season. And they play their games on a Saturday morning. We then introduced last season the MK and North Bucks Girls League. So this is slightly smaller at the moment. They currently have under 8s and under 9s, but they are definitely looking to kind of develop that and grow. So I think next season they're looking to introduce an under 10, so they want to keep that age group going all the way through. And they obviously cover the north part of our county. And then we also have our Thames Valley County Women's League, which is our adult option. So this is for any players who are 16 plus, and that also covers pretty much our whole region. So you get some teams who are from the north and the south, but they do regionalise the divisions. So divisions 3 and 2 are regionalised to prevent travel. And then we also have a development division as well. So if you are specifically looking for opportunities for a new team, or players who are looking to return to the game, or maybe something that's a little bit less competitive, then the option is there for the development division as well. Thanks, guys. So sessional, you would have most likely have seen or heard of Wildcats. So Wildcats is looking to target girls from 5 to 11 on a recreational level. It is there just to kind of use football as a little bit of a fun social tool. It's not really there for any competitive kind of play in that moment. But what I would say is we see a lot of our clubs use that as their way to kind of feed into getting under 8s, under 9 teams into next season. So if they've been playing in Wildcats for a season, they might then start to get the bug and want to play in games, and you can filter them into leagues. Squad is pretty much the same thing, just in a slightly older age group. So that looks from our 11 to 15. So again, specifically targeting players who aren't necessarily looking for the competitive element, but they might be doing it just for the social and the fun element, but kind of doing it in an environment that suits them. And then with just play, it's the same as what Dan discussed on the disability. There's the 2 options. There is the kickabout, which is purely just turning up and play. And then there's also the learn to play, where it will be a more structured session, which also, when with both of them, come plenty of different resources with that as well. And with Squad and Wildcats as well, you get a whole bunch of marketing tools, and you also get training tools as well. So different ideas for different types of drills and sessions and what they look like. Thanks, Stace. So what was exciting this year is the Football Foundation have released a Lionesses Here to Play fund. So this fund has been specifically created in order to make facilities to be more safe and accessible for girls and women. So you can apply for items such as lighting, changing room spaces, baby changing facilities, lounge furniture, cubicles, showers, it could be literally anything. It's quite a variety that they're kind of looking to do. The only criteria there is I think you need to have at least 1 female team, and then you also attended or be signed up to attend a equal game workshop, which I'll go on to in the next slide or so. But if you are interested, then feel free to drop our development email at the bottom, and then myself and Adam, our facilities lead, will reach out with further information on how we can get you guys applying. And then moving on to the Equal Game Workshop. So we do have one coming up next week. So it's actually on Monday, 16th of March, and it is an online workshop, but it is free to attend. Myself and Lisa Welling are going to be hosting the call, and it's basically an opportunity for you to understand a little bit further and a little bit more depth how you can kind of make your club be more female friendly, how we can help increase your provision or even start your journey. So we cover all different types of things, from marketing to finance, to pretty much anything that you might need. So female health as well. So if there is anything that you guys, if you want to know a little bit more and we can go in a little bit more in depth with it, then feel free to there's a QR code, but there's also a link on our website as well. So feel free to go and sign up. And if you aren't able to make it, but you are interested, then again, drop our development email, because I think we're looking at hosting another one towards the end of the season. And then that will also then make sure you're eligible for the Lionesses Fund if that is something you're also interested in. So yeah, just wanted to touch a little bit on, this is what the equal game goes into a little bit more, but creating a supportive environment. So these are kind of the initial questions we tend to ask clubs when they're starting to look at what their provision is. So whether they're looking at growing it or starting it. So there's just a couple of things in there that not often kind of get overlooked. So does your club's vision state it's supportive of female football, for example? Is it something that's in the club's radar and the vision? Is it something that they want? Are they getting the equal access to the pitch? And we're making sure that they're not just getting maybe the dud times and things like that. They're still having that equal access. Is there a plan that there is an opportunity? So if you do have a 10-year-old girl, is there somewhere where you can signpost them? Again, it might not potentially be within your club, but it could be in partnership with a club down the road to you or relatively near to you. And we just want to make sure that clubs are kind of aware that that interest is still growing, so girls are looking for that opportunity. So just a couple of questions for you guys to kind of just have a look at and just think, is your club in that position? Would you be able to handle the scenarios that are kind of put in there when you are marketing for female players? Are you using pictures of female players? Obviously, we're quite fortunate now with the success that we've had with the Lionesses and the increase in visibility in terms of the players that we see in the WSL and the Lionesses. It's definitely a chance to kind of use them in the marketing as well. But yeah, just things to kind of think about that representation. Think about what your workforce looks like. How many females have you got in terms of coaches? How many female volunteers do you have? Because ultimately all of that stuff really does matter. If you were to have female teams, do they all train on the same night? For example, my club we all train on the same evening, so our 10-year-olds can know that they could then also play at under 15s if they stayed and continued. And it just kind of creates that kind of like just a nice environment and a nice thing for girls to kind of be able to see that there are more girls like them wanting and being in the sport as well. So in terms of female coaches, the support we offer is there's a workshop called Stepping Over the Sidelines. So this workshop has been specifically designed to help increase female coaches. It is delivered with our coach development officer, Chris Berry, and also myself. And we basically look to break down the barriers to help deliver football. So I think a big issue we often see when trying to specifically recruit female coaches is that people say, oh, I've never played before, or I don't really know the rules. And this course has basically been designed in order to help break that down and kind of help people understand that you don't need to know everything. Not every coach knows anything anyway. So it's just an idea of being able to create an environment and just help you with your players. And it will start to give you a bit of an idea of exactly what that role looks like and what it can look like going forward. So again, if you are interested, then drop the development an email, and Chris and I will put our heads together and we can do this in collaboration with clubs. So if you've got a fair few people in one club you want to do it, we can come down and do it at yours, or if there's a couple of neighbouring clubs as well, we can do it there as well. So just think, if you know that this is somewhere where you're struggling, and there might be parents who are a little bit interested, but they might just be differing on whether they want to really step over that sideline, then this workshop's probably something that you might want to signpost them to. And then I'm just going to leave it off with a video, which is from Catherine Perry-Jones, who is an example of the success of that workshop.
Brilliant. So that's just a little insight into that program. So if, like I said, as you said, if you're interested, get in touch. We're just going to finish is
Oh yeah. Sorry, just to plug, we do have 2 female referee courses coming up this month. So we've got one that's based in Berkshire and one based in Milton Keynes. If you do, so it's a female only course. So if any individual signs up, they do get a free Nike referee kit, which will be embroidered with the BBFA badge ready to go. And then that will be delivered in time for the course. So then they will have the kit ready for them to partake in the course. So yeah, we've got 2 of them there that scan the QR code, or you can check out our website where the list is there. But yeah, it's just a great opportunity, similar to being a female and playing and coaches. We obviously want more female referees as well. We want to have that better representation across the board. So this is a really good opportunity to get involved. Great opportunity to potentially meet new people, but then also develop in a slightly different part of the game. And quite honestly, I think if you're a 14-year-old and you've got the opportunity to earn a bit of money, you can't necessarily go wrong. So yeah, if you are interested, please share this with your club, share it with your players, because it is a really good opportunity that we've got coming up in this month.
brilliant. Thank you, Izzy. So that's all we've got for tonight. Just a kind of brief go into the different options available, really. If anyone's got anything they want to ask, please either put in the chat or unmute yourselves if you prefer. And we've put the link on a few times. If anyone's got any questions or wants to get involved in any of the things we've spoken about, please get in touch at the development address. After the meeting, I'll be sending out all this information and the recording. So just if you have a brief overview or share with anyone else within your club. But other than that, thank you. And if you've got any questions, we'll be here for another few minutes or so.